Hey everyone, this is McKenna Wood, and for my Film and Literature Week 14 assignment, I'm going to be discussing children's abilities and difficulties to adapt in the film Like Father, Like Son. So, although the movie centers on the two families, the children's emotional adjustments reveal some of the film's biggest ideas, which is how environmental adjustments reveal some of the film's biggest ideas. And like how environment, love, routine, and social class shape childhood, and how children adapt to those who struggle, or how they adapt to the foundations whenever those adaptations are disrupted. So my argument is that the children's abilities to adapt depend less on biology and more on emotional safety and consistency, which is consistent throughout the film, and we learn more about that through both families. Kita is the clearest example of a child struggling to adapt. He has grown up in a quiet, structured, upper middle class environment with very high expectations. However, Ryota's household values discipline, piano lessons, and emotional restraint. When Kita is suddenly introduced to the Saki family, who is loud, playful, affectionate, and spontaneous, he becomes almost overwhelmed with that because he's not used to that household since he grew up in such a quiet household, and coming to such a loud household almost reveals his he lacks the ability because it's very difficult for him to open up to everyone because this doesn't match the environment that he knows, what he grew up in. Like, he didn't learn any of this, so coming into that is very shocking and very hard to adjust. So to me, Ryozi adapts more quickly to the Nanamiya household because he was raised in a lively, flexible home, and he's already used to navigating different personalities and situations. They shift into a quieter, more disciplined environment, almost as like an adventure to him. His curiosity, like touching the appliances, exploring the apartments, reaching to the rules, shows the children who grew up in a more openness, emotional environment adapts more easily to structure than the other way around. Kurita uses Ryozi to highlight how adaptability is tied to a child's confidence and sense of security. He isn't afraid to test limits or ask questions, meaning the new environment doesn't threaten his identity. And so this is a lot more easy for him to adapt to because coming from a loud household, it was like a lot easier for him because he can be open with people. He's used to that. But overall, both boys show that adaptation relies heavily on attachment and not biology. Kita's loyalty to Ryota is emotional, not genetic, which is why separation affects him so strongly. Meanwhile, Ryozori's attachment style allows him to adjust without feeling like he's betraying his birth parents. Through parallel scenes like mealtime routines, bedtime interactions, and physical affection, Kurita emphasizes that the stability children rely on comes from the emotional world built around them. Meaning, this suggests that children do not simply fit into the correct biological home. Instead, they adapt based on what makes them feel seen, safe, and understood. This film challenges the assumption that blood ties are stronger than lived experiences. In conclusion, the film uses Kita and Ryozi to show that children's ability to adapt is shaped by emotional safety, consistency, and the environments adults create for them. Their contrasting experiences reveal the adaptations not about genetics, but about the relationships and routines that give children a sense of home. Thank you guys for watching.